Hey guys, welcome back. Got an awesome elk hunting story to tell you today. It's going to be about the bull I shot on the elk hunting trip 2018. This big boy right over my shoulder right here, Bernie. Kind of go over the gist of kind of what happened, more of the bigger events and close calls, and then we're going to get to the day I shot Bernie, and I'm going to kind of talk through that because overall in the whole trip, we were going to try to film quite a bit, and we figured out the batteries that we had bought for the trip were kind of cheap and they just drained super fast. We didn't want to waste all of our battery throughout the week, so we just saved them and didn't film really much at all, if anything, with our phone. So there'll be a couple phone videos here and there. I'll kind of fill in the blanks, tell you kind of some cool things that happen, some close calls, and then we'll get to the awesome last day, last chance, and I dropped this big old bull right here. So let's get right to it.
Well, all packed up, basically ready to get out of here. A few last minute things to do, and we're on our way to Colorado to chase some bulls in the mountains.
Elk hunting trip 2018, let's go.
Johnny, you better shoot a bull.
I hope so.
It better be bigger than mine.
Yeah, as long as you can call them in for me.
Yep. Awesome. We're gonna get ourselves some gas before we head up in the mountains yet. Pretty pumped. Yeah. Hoping to get there maybe around light, a little before light, so that we can hopefully kind of hunt our way up to where we're gonna find camp. So. Shoot, yeah. Getting pumped now. We're getting real close. Down to the last stretch. Let's kill some elk. We are in Colorado and about to do our DIY public land bow hunt, self-guided hunt, just me and Dave. This is our third time ever elk hunting, and we're hoping to seal the deal this year, and hopefully Johnny can arrow a nice elk. Yeah, last year I got a nice 6x6, so I didn't get a tag. I am just gonna be the camera guy, so we can hopefully get a kill on film. See how it goes. See what we can do in about eight days, I think.
Yeah.
8 full days of hunting for elk in public land. Well, just made it to the trailhead. A few other trucks here. I'm sure there's plenty of them around. So we're gonna get situated and get ready to head out the next hour or so. I think sunrise is around 6:30, so we'll have plenty of time to get ready. So yeah, buddy, can't wait for that first bugle. The elk hunting trip 2018 in Colorado. It's August 31. It's probably about 4:30 in the morning. We just got here about a half hour ago. Probably not going to get light till about 6:30, so we're hoping to get in those mountains and listen for some bugles, or as soon as light comes we'll just go find some and try to locate some. But other than that, we're really pumped to go hear our first bugle and chase some bulls, so hopefully we get a big bull in the ground this year. I got Dave running the camera. He shot a nice 6x6 last year, so he's nice enough to let me go this year and film. And yeah, hopefully we can get some solid footage this week. Hopefully that turns out great, and yeah, see what we can do.
So day one, we head out there, and we kind of went to the same area where Dave shot his bull. Hiked out there, set up for the day. Didn't really hear much that first day, and right before dark we heard a bugle across the canyon. Really, if we would never have heard that bull, I don't think we would have been anywhere close to shooting the bull I did. Next day we ended up exploring the area. Found just real fresh elk sign from just elk being all through there. So as the whole day went on, it was probably the last few hours of daylight, we went through a good bedding area, got into this meadowy area, and ended up jumping a couple elk. I think it was just a cow and a calf and then a spike. We set up quick, Dave dropped way up the mountain from me, started bugling and calling, and eventually I ended up seeing some horns going through the timber towards me. So I got excited, pulled the binos out, and seeing that it had like it looked like a 5 and 6 point poking through the tree. So I was like, oh yeah, definitely a shooter bull. And I'll roll some of the footage here as well to show you guys kind of what ended up walking in. Had this bull slowly kind of work his way, finally popped out into the meadow I was in, and pulled my rangefinder out to range him. He was probably about 30 some yards, but I got a better look at him before I could pull on my bow back and get a shot, and it ended up just being a 3x2. Didn't have any brow tines, just had 2 long beams with a split and then 3 on the other side. So couldn't shoot him, but of course he came to about 15-20 yards. Sat there feeding for at least 5-10 minutes, just giving me the best shots ever. And if it was a legal bull, it would have been day 2, bull down, but nope. So I had to watch him end up feeding away and leaving, and pretty much had just scouted that new area and figured out there's some bulls and stuff there. So we ended up hiking back to our original base camp, pulled that up the next day, and then moved to that area for the rest of the week. So I'm gonna fast forward that Monday. We went out that morning, ended up hearing a bull bugling kind of down the meadow from where we had camped. The wind was just pushing right to him, so we didn't really want to do a huge circle on him. We did hear another bull, so we decided to pass on this bull. Maybe we'll come back to him. We ended up hearing a bull on this big ridge to the side of us, and he ended up getting quieter as we were kind of trying to decide what to do. So like, all right, well, he went over the ridge, let's just slowly work that way and maybe we'll find him. So I ended up sneaking through the timber, slowly got up to that ridge, and I'm following Dave, and all of a sudden he just stops, hits the brakes, and he's like, do not move, there's 2 bulls up on that ridge. So I'm just like, really? Like, what in the world is going on? So we look up there and there's 2 bulls, a nice 5 point and a pretty good 6 point, and they're sitting there just kind of clanking antlers a little bit, fighting, not too aggressive at all, but they hit antlers, look up, and they're still on high alert, but we were kind of still in the timber yet, and they were up in the open on the very top flat of the ridge. So I was like, all right, Dave, I'm just gonna try to slowly make my way up there. There's a couple bushes I can get maybe within 50, 60 and maybe get a shot. So started easing in, and I got probably about 10 yards away from a nice bush that had to have been about 50 yards from him. And all of a sudden I felt the wind just come behind, and they caught whiff of that and they were just gone. But Dave has a small clip of these bulls fighting on the top, so it's not the greatest, clearest footage, but you kind of see a quick glimpse of how big these bulls were. So they ended up blowing off, but we ended up going right up to the top of the ridge after they left, and we ended up seeing a huge herd with this bull just firing off, just bugling his butt off. And he had probably like 20 head cows in front of him, just working through this burn area away from us. And we tried to make a big circle in front of them, but we were just too late, and they dove into a huge, nasty canyon. So we ended up opting just to stay in our area and hope for the best for the rest of the week. So the next day, there's this huge nasty canyon right next to us, and we end up hearing some bulls way down in the bottom. We end up making a plan just to sneak way around, and this is a pretty steep lip around this whole canyon, and we end up it's just like this sketchy, just little almost stairway or ledge that slowly worked around the edge of the rim and then slowly headed down. We call it just the stairs to Hell's Canyon. Slowly worked down to these bugling bulls, and of course we get close to the bottom, they start shutting up and we didn't hear them, and we ended up having actually a cow and a calf. Just all of a sudden, just we heard something running, we just got ready, got my bow set up. A cow and a calf came busting by us, and they ended up stopping behind too thick a cover, and I couldn't get a shot, which is unfortunate. But we ended up heading back down still where those bulls had been bugling, and just never saw them, never caught a glimpse, or I didn't hear a peep from them again. So we ended up climbing out of that canyon, went back to camp, and hung around there for the evening. So we go to this bedding area kind of by our camp, and we're going through this, and we ended up hearing a bull crack off. So we ended up making a setup. Dave's sitting behind me cow calling and whatnot, making a racket, and all of a sudden I'm hearing this bull coming. Never saw him at all, but I just hear him grunting and breathing super loud. Didn't hear anything, didn't even hear him bust, but nothing came out of it. And we ended up going to camp, and that night, it was probably 10 minutes before dark. We're getting ramen noodle all set up. It's just got all boiled, and we're just about to start eating. All of a sudden this bull cracks off in the meadow next to us, not 150 yards away. We're in our socks. And I grab my bow and we just take off to this meadow and get set up, and he just never came close enough. And again, we heard him raking brush and kind of breathing loud and everything, just never caught a glimpse of him. And we end up calling this bull Hail Mary because every time he'd bugle, he'd have a super long bugle, but right after he started bugling, he just cut out. You never hear anything, just almost air just came out. And then finally he'd finish his bugle, and it was just a super long bugle. And it was just so super easy to remember. So it didn't pan out that night. The next morning, so this is day 7 now, we go out and get up to the top of this ridge. And this is kind of what we do a lot of these mornings, is go up to this ridge line, and we just listen over both sides every morning, see if we hear one in the bottom crack off. That morning we sat there and we ended up hearing one crack off down this drainage across from us. So we decided to start going down the mountain, and we're slowly getting down there, and all of a sudden we hear him bugle straight across this drainage from us. So we get set up, Dave goes above me, sitting there waiting, and all of a sudden a cow just pops up and goes past Dave like 60 yards away. So he's like, dude, there's a cow right here. It's like, sweet, well, there's still a bull out here. So we wait a little bit, he bugled one more time just out of sight, and then all of a sudden I see a glimpse of him coming, and he gets down to the creek. I see him just start thrashing his antlers in this creek, and I'm getting all pumped and jacked, like, oh man, it's gonna happen pretty quick here. Meanwhile, Dave's behind me, and he's just almost crumpled on the ground because of that cow coming past. He didn't want to get spotted, so he can't quite see what's happening, but he knows there's a bull down there. Finally, this bull starts heading back up the mountain. He hears Dave cow calling, so he's heading straight up there, thinking that's the cow that just passed us. I'm thinking he's gonna go right up to Dave so that he could come out about 30 yards in front of me and I'd get a shot. But for some reason, he's veered off and headed straight at me. So I didn't draw yet because I had a better shot if he would have came parallel with me, but he went straight at me, so I waited too long to draw, which was kind of dumb. I should have drawn nice and early, but didn't happen. So I waited, and there was 2 big pine trees about 15 yards, 20 yards in front of me that he was gonna walk behind. So I was like, all right, that's my chance to draw, and hopefully he doesn't spot me. So right when he went behind, I started drawing, and I was probably halfway drawn, and there his head pops out and spots me right away, and he just freezes. So I finished drawing, and I'm just holding on him, and it's kind of a tight quartering shot. So I was like, all right, I'll just take my time. And right as I'm touching off the release, he decides to turn and bolt. So all my arrow hit was just open air, and that arrow just sailed into the drainage. That bull turned around, took off, and oh man, I'll be honest, I felt super down from this miss. Really hit me hard. It was, the second to last day of the trip, and I thought this was my only opportunity I was ever gonna get, and I just blew it. I'm feeling super down on myself for missing that bull, and just really feeling the whole roller coaster of elk hunting. If you've ever elk hunted, there's always a roller coaster of emotions that run through you. You have the highs and lows, you have missed shots, poor shots, losing bulls, whatever it may be. I was feeling super low, and Dave was trying to cheer me up. The words Dave told me still ring in my head today too, and that rest of that trip. He was like, you know what, Johnny, you just missed that bull, but you're gonna shoot a bigger bull this week. And I was like, yeah, whatever, dude. There's no way. We ended up sitting on this ridge line midday, and we hear that familiar bugle from old Hail Mary, and he just sounds off way down the bottom, and we had just been waking up from a nap, so we both looked at each other like, was that a bugle? What? And sat there, and sure enough, like 5 minutes later, there he goes again, the old Hail Mary bugle. So we both just grab our stuff, just truck right down the mountain, get what we thought was maybe 100 yards away, started calling to him, and I don't think he bugled again. We heard him do a couple little grunts and calls, maybe just out of eyesight, and then nothing. And we had felt the breeze kind of hit our necks once or twice. We're like, you know what, chances are he smelled us, so.
Well, it's probably like almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon or evening. We're just hiking back up the mountain because we just went after the bull we call Hail Mary. We're both napping, and I just got up and I was like, hey Dave, you see any elk? Because he was kind of glassing a bit. And he's like, before he could say anything, his bugle rang out to the drainage. So we let him bugle once more, located him. We booked it down the mountain towards him, and he probably bugled one more time, chuckled, and then shut up. And our wind had gone towards him maybe once or twice, so we think he smelled us, and then just left. But it's a huge climb back up. Oh, this sucks. This isn't the steepest parts of the mountain, but sure isn't fun going back up where you just ran down. See if we get something else done tonight. Thursday night, leaving tomorrow morning. So let's make it happen.
Well, we admitted defeat, turned around, started licking our wounds from that encounter. Got to the top again, and we sat there not 5 minutes, and there he goes again. Bugles about the same area, and this time, every time he bugles, he's just over the next drainage, farther out into another drainage, and he just kept going. So I don't know if he had a herd or not, but he probably took his herd and just got out of the country, so that was a bummer. Felt a little better after that, so we had more action. So that night, we're heading back to camp. We ended up sitting on this flat, chilled for the last 10-15 minutes of light, just to watch the sunset on the top of the mountain. And if any of you guys have been in elk country, those sunsets are just, you just can't beat them. So we had to sit there and watch the sunset. And it was probably, 10-15 minutes before dark, and I decided to tell Dave, you know what, let's just head back to camp while it's light so that we can get, stuff rolling for the night. And he was kind of like, well, whatever, I guess. So we start heading down, and we just get in the timber. We hear something above us, bugle, and it's kind of this, we weren't sure if it was a bugle or not. We didn't know if it was a hunter, and then all of a sudden it bugled again, and it's like within 100 yards on that ridge line, just working across behind us. So we just quick turn around, head back up the mountain, and as we're going up close to timberline, all of a sudden I spot a cow and silhouette a cow on the top of the ridge looking at us. So I'm like, oh no, we're pinned. So Dave just started raking and bugling behind me, and we can hear the elk slowly moving farther away. So we end up trucking over the top, bugling at him. He would fire back again, but he just followed his cows down to the next drainage and got super close, had good bugling action right there. So we got super pumped, and even though it was the last evening, we were kind of still jacked for the next morning, even though it was going to be a short hunt. So guys, it's finally the final day of our trip. It's going down to the wire. We've had a bunch of close calls, got a miss. Things are getting really close. We're not sure if we're going to shoot one yet. And we get up that morning, we're tired of waking up in a tent. We're ready to be home and enjoy the simple things of life. Get all packed up, ready to go for the morning. We're tired, we're weary, and we're ready to shoot something or just go home. So we get up, kind of pumped yet from the night before. Get up to that ridge line we've been sitting about every morning, and get up there, get all settled, and it's a beautiful sunrise. and we're just sitting there glassing, just hoping we could hear a bull. And we decided that any bull we hear within maybe a mile or in our drainage is huntable, and anything farther is just too far, and it's just going to take too much time to hunt them. And if we'd shoot one, it'd just be too far to get all packed out before we wanted to go home. So we waited, and eventually there goes a bugle, just way out in the distance, just too far. So we sat there and said, well, if he comes a little closer, we'll hunt him, but we're just going to wait for another one to bugle even closer than that. So we waited, and sure enough, that one bugled even closer. Soon enough, he's over into like the opposite side of our drainage into this burn area, and he sounds closer. So sweet, this bull's coming in. Finally out there, I see this white blur, this creamy white blur, just slowly going through the burn area. I'm like, dude, Dave, that's him. No way. So we're glassing him up, and it's too far to tell how big he is, but we're like, dude, this is a bull we can shoot. This is a legal bull. We waited a bit, watched him go into the timber, into our drainage, and we decided to quick grab our gear and head straight down the drainage to cut him off at the bottom. So we trucked down there, made our way down, got set up by the creek, and Dave let out one locator bugle. And then we waited, did a couple cow calls, and nothing happened. So we're all just getting worried, and we're like, well, did he pass us before we got down? Did he beat us? Or is he still up there and just being silent? So we made the call to just head up another 100 yards and see what happens. We're just going to keep hitting 100 yards and bugling, making setups, and hopefully we get a response. So we get up to that 100 yards. Dave sets up about 70 yards behind me, throws out a bugle, and almost immediately that bull fires up just above the mountain from us where we had come. Quick got ready. It was just a matter of time before he came racing into bow range and gave me a shot. Yes. Did he go down? Is he down? Yes. Yes. How big is he? I saw his antlers through the trees.
Frontal shot, man. Oh,
Frontal?
he's dead down.
You saw him fall?
He's down. Jason, the giant.
Yes. Yes, Johnny. Yes.
He was coming. He was at like 10, 15. He's probably 15, 20 yards. He's coming straight through, moving his antlers. And he stopped. And I was like, oh, taking him. Shot right at the front of him.
Did my cow calls bring him straight at me, kind of?
I think so. He was... But him but he came from above us. Okay, first of all, we were up at the top of the ridge this morning, and I don't think we heard any of this bottom yet, but we saw one coming from the burn, just hightailing it across the burn into this section. So we're like, David, we gotta get down here quick. So we quick scooted down the backside of this ridge. We've been working up slowly. We made a setup and called.
Kind of bugled every like 200 yards, just try to figure out where he was, because we weren't sure if he dropped below us before we got to the bottom, or if he smelled us.
And we got up, we're sitting there, nothing happened. David bugled. I was like, David, we gotta start working up. He's like, dude, that thing might have he might have actually passed us before we got down. So, crap, let's just work up and see what happens. Well, we went up maybe another 100 yards, and I was like, David, just bugle.
No, I was like, screw it, let's just bugle. Let's figure out where he is.
Bugle right up
like
above us,
200,
right?
300 yards of it.
Top of the ridge.
Up to the right. So, Johnny, you quick dropped down to the right, and I got up to the left.
He went exactly, and he went downwind immediately. He started going down, and I could hear him crashing a little bit. And
I heard him
feel the
crashing.
wind. Okay.
I saw you turn, so I quick made some noise, cracked a branch or two.
And I felt the wind like go straight down, so it's like perfect. He's never gonna smell me. I heard him, and then all of a sudden I seen him going straight at us.
Yep, I saw his antlers. I never saw him. I just saw his bigger than mine.
Big 6 point. I bet you he's bigger than yours. And
Sweet.
I shot him. He came in, and he just hitting trees, going through, and then just stopped. And I aimed right at the front. Like,
When did you draw on him? Like really early this time?
Pretty early, yeah. Because I didn't want him to see me.
So John, let me ask you: are you glad you missed that little guy?
I missed a 5 or 6. I was
Yesterday morning. This guy, I still can't believe he's alone. Dude, I can't wait till we can see him, dude.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he went down right up there. Okay. Because he went up and then.
Yeah, we're gonna leave him for I say about an hour, just in
We're
case.
just gonna wait for him. Dude, I buried that arrow. I looked at it. But elk trip 2018, literally down to the last hours. Yeah. We were gonna get out of here in the next 2 or 3 hours. We were only planning on hunting for a few hours in the morning and then getting out of here and taking camp. And we're like, well, we heard one near camp, but we're like, man, the wind was a pain in that spot. The mountains, just the wind is a pain right away in the morning. So we're like, let's just try going up here. We heard a bunch of bulls out here last night. Ran into a herd bull, which we were literally 2 minutes away from shooting him, but we went down the mountain.
I'm gonna have to quit it because it's pretty low in battery.
Okay.
But I have 2 others in my backpack that are low too, but we'll try to use them both. But for now, we're gonna give him time. We don't have any food left, so that's the bad thing. But we're gonna give him time, and we're gonna go up and try to find him, dude.
Should have had the GoPro, but I didn't have time.
That's alright, dude.
He's down up there. I know it.
Alright, well, let's just get up to where I shot. I gotta figure out where I shot again. I think I was right here, dude. Yeah, I think he came right through here. Okay. Yeah, this is it. About right in there. Just past you. In there somewhere. That's where I saw it. Right in this area, I think is where it is. I know. For any traces of blood. See any blood yet? Oh, right here. Yep, blood. Yes. Alright. Follow where it went. Yep, a little bit out here. Where? Are you kidding me? He didn't run like 50 yards. What did you do? Dude. Yes. That's a beauty, dude. Yes, Johnny.
You too, man. It was you too.
Yes. Now I called you one in. Dude.
Tank, man.
Dude, those backs, those sixes are awesome. Right six on your right hand, dude.
This is my shot. Oh, I shot it.
Oh yeah,
Right in here. Yep, right
frontal
here.
shot.
Frontal shot.
Dude, Johnny.
And he literally went
Like 40 yards.
He didn't go anywhere. Like, I heard him take off, get up here, and he was just toasted. Look at all this stuff on his range. He might have been in the wild too, this one. Look at that. All that sap stuck on
Sap and pine.
there. Dude.
Nice, dude.
What a ball. I can't believe we did
Johnny,
this, Dave. This
we
is
did it
day,
again.
day 8. We were planning on packing out today, this morning. We're like, alright, let's just go up to the top. If we hear anything, okay, maybe we'll chase it. But other than that, we're just gonna go right away and try to get out of here. Nope. Didn't happen.
Well, looks like we're gonna have a hard day ahead of us. I might try to get some help because we kind of want to get back into Loveland hopefully tonight. Dude, that's a beauty. Dude, those threes are huge. That three in that side.
These are nice compared to yours.
Compared to mine are dinks. Dude, that's right. Elk trip 2018 is successful. 2 years in a row, baby.
2 years.
That's how we like it. By ourselves.
Do it yourself public land hunt. And this is what you can do.
Just gotta work hard basically, and every day give it your all.
We went to the lowest of lows yesterday and missed a 5-point at like 20 yards. And I got so down on myself. Called my brother Cody a couple times. He's like, dude, just hunt hard. Just get past it. You know, everybody, you know, a lot of guys get it done the last day, the last hour. Just stay with it. And we got close yesterday after I missed that bull. We got super close to other bulls. And then this morning, this big boy came ripping through. Came right in. Give him a good old frontal. He didn't go far.
Give them the frontal and they ain't going anywhere.
Ah, dude.
Congratulations, Johnny.
Thank you. Thank you for calling, man. You
No
brought
problem.
this big boy in.
We're gonna call him Bernie because I'm pretty sure he came right out of the burn this morning. See? Oh, dude. Picture. Let's start taking pictures. Yes, thank you so much. I can't believe we made it happen. Look at this ball.
Get some pictures quick with this.
I know. I'm gonna get this thing better. You can see I have one arrow left. Guaranteed. It's buried in there. Dude, yes.
We're going to save Johnny. I think we'll use. How much do you have? Because I might save.
So we got a bull down. You guys just don't know the feeling of shooting your first over-the-counter bull on public land. This was our second hunt by ourselves on public land. This is public land that you guys can hunt. Anybody can do this. It's possible as long as you put in the work and effort. You'll get there. You might not shoot one, but it's one of the funnest and best experiences out there. The greatest feeling ever. I dropped my first bull with a bow, and it was a big bull to say the least. So, had my bull down. We ended up breaking it down. Got all the quarters hung. Got it all skinned off the head, and we made one trip out. Took just a couple of scraps. I got the head out, and then we went. Got our camp, loaded that up, got to the truck, loaded that all in the truck, and then we drove to a better spot just so that we could access the kill a lot better. And got out there with about 3 hours of light left.
Alright, we're finally back. It's almost 6, I think.
And we're gonna see if we can get this all in one pack out tonight before the sun goes down, or at least be on our way back. But we walked a different way in, probably like 1.5 miles in, and yeah, we're gonna see if we can get it all in one so that we don't have to do one in the dark. So time to cut this stuff up so it's a little bit more manageable, and we'll be on our way. Get ourselves a little fox. Just showed up. Checking out the kill. Yeah, we left plenty of stuff for you, dude. Eat up. Ended up deboning all the meat just to make our last pack out a lot lighter, and we loaded everything on our packs. Well, it's about 7:30. Just loaded up our packs with the meat that we did deboned, just to make it lighter so we can do one trip before dark.
Yep. Get it all in one go.
We'll get most of the way before it gets dark, but we didn't want to have to come back all the way up here because it's like 1.5 miles, 2 miles away from where we parked. So got ourselves some makeshift trekking poles, and we're gonna walk through a bunch of burn, and hopefully there isn't a lot of deadfall because we probably both got 120, 130 pounds on our back. So just try to get it done in one. So let's get her done, get to that truck. And it had to have been pushing 120, 150 pounds, but we wanted to get it done. We had actually gone through a bunch of deadfall, and we did not want to come all the way back up again. So load everything up, and by the time we got it loaded up, we had maybe 20 minutes of light and probably about a 2 to 3 hour hike out. So we're like, all right, well, we're gonna be hiking through the darkness, whatever, let's just get it done. So it was a pretty terrible pack out, just to say the least, and I don't think any pack out's gonna be a breeze, but this one was pretty ruthless. We ended up going down the mountain, and it was a lot of burn area, but it was also an incredible amount of deadfall and beetle kill. So there's trees just crisscross everywhere, just like pickup sticks. It just finally got dark enough where you could only see 20 feet in front of you with our headlamps, and you couldn't plan ahead and see, you know, super rough terrain ahead of you where you want to get around. You would basically walk right up to it, figure out that it was impassable, like the deadfalls were too high, that you had to go all the way back, circle around, and it was just all night long. But I will say this, we ended up taking a break, sat on some deadfall, and we were able just to chill, take a break, give our backs a break, and looked up, and it was just a clear night, and you could see all the stars. The coolest thing, seeing it through all these scorched pine trees around you. Never gonna forget that. Just one of the coolest experiences of that trip. So finally we get back up and slowly made our way back. Another thing to mention is we had Onyx on this trip, and Onyx saved us so much. That night, unfortunately, our phones were in the single digits, so we didn't want to use our phones. So we ended up taking a backup GPS, and that GPS just wasn't near as handy as that Onyx. It was pretty rough trying to find the main trail, and eventually we ended up finding it, and that pack up just ended up taking 3 to 4 hours, probably an hour or two longer than we had hoped. Finally make it back to the truck and drop those heavy packs, and you just feel like you're floating, and you're just on cloud nine, just so thankful for that awesome experience in the backcountry. And I can't say enough how awesome it is to see God's creation and experience it firsthand up in those mountains, because you just see such incredible country and God's creatures out there that, man, I look forward to that trip every year. One last thing, guys, I just want to encourage every one of you, if you got a backcountry trip or an out west trip planned, or it's on your bucket list and you really want to do it, just start saving and just pursue that goal and go after it, because it's super intimidating at first, but when you get out there for the first time and you start seeing this awesome country and you get to experience some really neat things out there, you're just going to go every year as much as you can, and it's just one of the best things ever, and one of the things I look forward to the most every fall. So there's plenty of public land out there, guys, that you can access, and if you put in the time, work, and effort, I mean, anything is possible out there. You can shoot any legal bull and get some meat back, and You can enjoy a bunch of elk steaks and whatever you like. Well guys, thanks for watching this video. It was fun to relive that awesome memory of shooting my first ever bull kill. Pretty awesome public land bull at that. And if you guys like what you see, please like this video. Also, don't forget to subscribe and also share our videos with your friends. But other than that, hope you guys get out there this fall and chase some bulls or bucks, whatever it is, and enjoy your time out in God's awesome, great outdoors. So thanks for watching again, guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one.